Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
You're listening to Comics Podcasting on the edge of civility.
Hey kids, quick little correction here. We were already pretty rocked up when we recorded this episode, so it's actually episode 65. We apologize for any confusion between the website and the first thing you may hear in this podcast. Have a good night. When is now, bitches?
What?
The when
The
is
when?
now.
The who?
No, not the who. The when. Little known side project for Roger Daltrey.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. Hey, guys.
Hola.
It's episode 64 of The Mean Geek.
Greetings.
Comics Podcasting on the edge of civility. And I don't know where I just got that accent that got me padcasting.
Podcasting. Pack the car and have a podcasting.
Where the hell did that come
We
from?
can't do that anymore.
At any rate,
Anything new on Skype?
no, absolutely nothing new on Skype. And I'm quite pleased with that because our Skype rapist fella was kind of worrying me a little bit.
Well, you know, it's not. I only call him the Skypist because what he did to Skype seems uncalled for, but that's probably because we don't know how to work it properly. You know, he may be a very nice person.
I know how to work the thing just fine.
Well, then why is it making horrible screechy noises?
Because he was doing horrible screechy things. Yes, don't
No,
shake your head at me. I hate you. So, anything you want to talk about this week, Rev?
I found a new webcomic that's ridiculously awesome.
Which one's that?
The amazing, the mighty, the wonderful Bug. That's its actual name. Not the
Bug.
Yeah.
Bugcomic.com. The single guy strip alone is worth the time to run through them and find it.
The book burning Kindle thing.
The book burning Kindle thing was awesome. It was so good. I had to make the question on my Facebook.
There
I had
you
to
go.
find out what people would say. Now, they covered EMPs. Yeah, waving around giant magnets.
Now, have you read through the whole... Because it hasn't been around a long time.
I got close.
Did you get through Zombie Week?
Yes. I probably would have finished it today, but for some bizarre reason, the corporate network at work thinks that it's a social not working site instead of a comic strip. But who knows? I don't understand these
Maybe
things.
because people comment on the comics.
It could be. It makes sense to a degree. So, I guess, do we want to jump right in? Do we want to talk about... Did we talk about the Cape?
The Cape. Yes, we did.
We talked about the Cape, and it was terrible. So, don't watch the Cape, kids.
Not that it'll be around long.
You're not going to get many opportunities.
It's rare when Life and Us agree in a review, but The Cape is one of those special crappy moments where the entire world stands up and goes, "Hell no, you miserable piece of crap! I will not watch you." It's kind of heartwarming, actually. It's
Oh, I know what I wanted to
usually
talk
we're
about.
two tiny fists raised in the darkness against the man.
Two tiny fists in the darkness raised against the man. There's our
Good
title.
title.
Clink.
Are you kidding? That's our new slogan.
For real. Two tiny fists raised up in the dark against the man. We'll have to straighten out the grammar on it, though.
Well, I mean, what do
There's
you want from me?
Already 3 variations in
I'm
like
lippy.
a minute and a half. But I started playing DCU Online.
Yes, you did.
And
You
it's
made a very special
shitload of
Antioch.
fun. I took my standard MMO/RPG name, and I transported it into the DCU on the Brave New World server.
Wow, very Huxley of you.
Yeah, well, you know, it was either that or Brave and the Bold server,
Really?
which I thought about, but it was a PvP server, and I don't play that shit.
Not even for this, because this would seem
Not
to
even
be
for
the-
that.
Now, if you really enjoy the game and continue with it, will you consider moving to a PvP server?
Well, I just make a whole nother character on a whole new server.
Ah,
so
okay.
I'm not gonna bring my, current guy over is just so I can get my ass handed to me by people who have been fighting live enemies, on day one.
Beating up new villains seems, that you haven't met before. Like, there's a certain level of coolness there.
Yeah, there is.
Coolness being so not the right word, but lack of coolness.
Yes, I can see exactly what you're saying there. But my powers are flight.
Of course they are. Are you invulnerable?
I fly really, really quickly. I am definitely not invulnerable. I have an I-beam. Since I have a patch, the patch is kind of pointless if you're just going to be burning through it every other fight. I have wrist blasters. Very good, very fun. I have a taser pull.
Oh, what?
They have a little grappling hook type effect that you can electrify. So you throw it out and it goes, and it brings the guy to you so you can beat the shit out of him while he's going like.
Okay, so a lot of this, you're very weapon. It's not, you don't have like a ton
I'm a
of
gadget
powers.
guy.
Okay.
Was
that intentional?
Yes.
Do you get to pick, or do they just sort of like?
Oh yeah, no, you can pick a whole lot of things, but Batman is a gadget guy.
Okay. So you became a gadget guy.
Yes, Batman is my mentor.
Really?
I get the majority of my missions from Batman.
And he's okay dealing with your hippie flying ass, because
What?
Batman usually doesn't hang with a lot of people with power. Like he's
Hippie?
He's very snobby.
What is this hippie stuff?
Batman is a snob, dude.
I am not hippie.
The Huntress, Robin.
What are you talking hippie? Don't hippie me. Don't hippify me. Don't do these things. So,
fine, you're unhip.
I also have from my first mission, I picked up a vial, a never-ending vial of fear gas. So
weird.
After I taser the guy and he's going, once that wears off and he starts defending himself again, I can smack him with the fear gas and he's out.
That seems vaguely unhero-like somehow.
Yeah, well, you should try beating up on a Minotaur. You need that shit.
Now, who have you fought so far? What are the villains have they rolled out in week 1 of DCU?
I have already fought Harley Quinn.
I assume the Scarecrow based on the fear gas.
Not yet.
That's really random and weird, then.
Yes. I have gone up against a few of his thugs. I didn't actually go up against him yet.
Would they be Scarecronies?
Jackass. I went against Harley Quinn, Dr. Psycho, of all fucking people. Who goes against... Who brings in Dr. Psycho in the premiere?
Who is Dr. Psycho?
Dr. Psycho is this little fucking maniacal bug-eyed guy. Let me look up Dr. Psycho for you.
I've been trying, because I was thinking of the Psycho Pirate, and I'm like, wait, that guy's horrible. And then I'm like, wait, no, I'm not even thinking of the right jackass. I have a totally different jackass in my head.
This right here, I mean, this opening sentence fills it in all for you.
Okay.
And if this doesn't fit the Billy villain, I don't know what will.
Uh-oh.
A villainous telepathic dwarf, Dr. Psycho has traditionally been presented as an adversary for Wonder Woman.
Of course he is. No wonder I've never heard of him.
Look at this guy, dude. Look at him, man.
Wow.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Man, Wonder Woman has some crap villains.
I know, and that's been a major failing of hers for decades, man. It's frightening how little cool enemies she has. I fought Giganta.
Also a Wonder Woman villain.
Yeah, I had to save Wonder Girl's dumb ass to get to her. That's like a couple of Minotaurs, Wonder Woman based Minotaurs.
Oh, so you're very Wonder Woman based.
Well, I mean, it happens in Metropolis. They've only got 2 cities right now to play in. So.
Gotham and Metropolis. Mm-hmm. And since you're Batman's henchman, you spend most of your time in Metropolis.
No, sometimes the quests lead you on chains of quests. So they're like...
So there's no Star City yet?
Not just yet.
The giant orchard of magic.
There may never be a coast city.
Well, it fluctuates.
Yeah, I don't need the great magic orchard. Okay, that's something I'm not dealing with. But it's a lot of fun. You can definitely tell, however, that they tried desperately to make it of appeal to console gamers, because not only is it on the Sony PS3 as well as the computer, but everything is based on taps, whereas nobody else ever uses the word tap except, console gamers.
Okay.
And there's combos. Nobody talks about combos. There's a hit counter. You've done, oh my God, you hit him 50 times. That's amazing. There's an achievement for hitting somebody 50 times. You believe that?
Well, then my dad would have that one.
What?
I'm kidding.
I don't even get it.
Think about it.
Oh, ooh.
There it
Evil. You nasty bastard. So I'm going through the first month free.
Right. And so far, it's looking like a continue.
It's enjoyable. And you know what? It is, aside from anything else, aside from the excitement of, oh, holy shit, I took a mission for Batman.
Right.
Aside from that, it's fucking gorgeous.
How's the gameplay, though? Is it a fun game to play, or is it just
for the most part. I haven't yet hit a mission that was so hard it made me want to break my mouse. And there's only been a couple of missions that were like, well, what was the point of that one? Right. They midlined it pretty well, where you can still get knocked out and have to come back, but you ain't got to do it 50 goddamn times like Mario Brothers or anything like that. And I haven't found the need to team up with anybody just yet. I've
kind of with one.
I've took the cheating way around, and built up a couple of levels and then gone back to something.
You are not a man who likes to team with others.
Everybody does that, though. Nobody doesn't do that in an RPG. It totally doesn't matter.
Since I have no knowledge, I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Well, your idea of Diablo was, can I heal?
Well, computer gaming and I have a long and varied history of, oh, crap, I suck at this. Sometimes I suck early in the game. Sometimes I get a little further and then suck. It depends on the game.
Unless you're playing against people, in which case you rip the living fuck out of them.
Only in Alien vs. Predator and Unreal Tournament.
That's that's good enough, isn't it? That's what we play. All right, that's 11 and a half minutes. You want to talk some books?
Why not? We have a small homework pile today.
Yeah, it's not terribly big at all. Seeing as how we're skipping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 issues of Brightest Day because I'm giving up very, very soon.
So you're totally quitting.
It's not going.
It's not like you.
I don't care about the Hawk people.
The Hawk thing was rough, dude. That is not a storyline. I've never read Hawk World.
Totally don't care about them.
The only thing I ever enjoyed was a 3-issue miniseries that Michael Lark did, like Legends of the Hawk World, that was really well done. And I liked that a lot.
I've never, ever cared about Firestorm. Any of Akiman? Suddenly he's Japanese.
You tried to pretend that you liked Peter David's Aquaman for a while. And you did like, not as much as Dan the Man, but you did like the Atlantis Chronicles miniseries that David did way back in the day.
Yeah, those were okay, but a lot has changed since then. And a lot before that wasn't all that hot.
Well, Peter David's like, I'm going to chew off his hand and give him facial hair was definitely, that's a rough ode.
Which reminds
road
me,
to Hode.
There you go.
Hode.
It's fucking English night on the Mean Geek. We enunciate when we speak to our beloved audience.
All 4 of you. Goblin.
And they keep teasing me with White Lantern Batmans. And,
well, they had it. And then it's like, no, it's actually... Oh, and you've never, ever cared about Deadman.
No. There are a few stories that he has appeared in that I enjoyed, so it doesn't bother me that he is having his day, but I've never been invested in him.
Well, let's break down Brightest Day. Let's take 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Because the pile isn't overly impressive. And a lot of it is stuff that you are phasing out. So,
yeah.
Brightest Day brought back exactly 12 people.
Yes.
12?
12.
All right. So you've got...
The Hawks.
Who openly established that you don't really care about.
Right.
Then you've got...
Martian Manhunter.
Who you love.
Yep.
And his story is probably, for me, the most compelling in Brightest Day.
Yeah, it's the one worth sticking around for.
With the
but
evil Martian
maybe
fucking
dollar
with him.
boxes. I'll
Fair
finish
enough.
it out.
But I'm just saying, like, that would be the highest point for me. You've got
Yes.
Aquaman and Manta's son Aqualad, which I can't imagine you care about.
It just never occurred. And maybe this reveals something about me, and maybe it doesn't matter at all. But it never occurred to me that Black Manta was actually black.
Actually, like, I'm pretty sure he's like a green-faced alien type, dude.
Well, then how did he get a black boy?
All right, well, first, tone there would be awkward. Secondly, you know, maybe he adopted him. You know, it's not like
It could be, because they're not explaining it.
Yeah, and certainly Aquaman is sitting there underwater with a seahorse holding a test tube like, that's fish DNA. You're obviously a narwhal. No, I haven't gone into any kind of... That's your subtitle right there. You're obviously a narwhal. So they haven't really established a whole ton. It's just like, you're a mantis boy.
And, you know, Digger Hankness? Really?
Actually, you know what? I just reread Brad Metzer's
Identity Crisis?
Exactly. And I love Captain Boomerang to begin with. And then you take, like, how well he wrote him in that with the sun.
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
issue.
no...
Probably, other than Martian Manhunter, my favorite returnee, which should tell you a lot right there. All right, Firestorm you don't care about.
No, totally. I have never, ever cared about the whole internal monologue. We must argue because we're so different, but we're inhabiting the same body. Yeah. Oh my God, there's pathos. Fuck off.
Then you have Dove, who I know for a fact that you loathe.
No, I don't loathe the new
Hawk
Dove.
You didn't like the old Hawk and Dove. You didn't ever read the new Hawk and Dove, and you dislike Liefeld. So.
I did read Hawk and Dove in the 80s.
Really?
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
The Liefeld stuff with Kestrel, yeah.
Oh my God.
I did.
Oh my God.
I didn't know what I was reading. It was the 80s.
No, just shocking.
They did have a little bit of byplay back then.
You enjoyed it?
It was entertaining.
Okay. So Hawk was a... excuse me. Dove, rather, was a kind of a surprise one for you then.
Yeah, a little bit. I really didn't think they'd bring back a Dove or the Dove, either way, because actually old boy totally refuses to come back, and the Ring is having great difficulties doing anything with him.
Yeah. All right, so then you... All right, who's left? So how many is that?
Oh, geez.
The Hawks are 2.
The Hawks.
Firestorm, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, Digger Hankness.
Yeah. We're way off.
There's quite a few
There's
left.
a lot more.
Yeah. Well, there's
Did
Maxwell
you say
Lord.
Deadman?
Deadman was Deadman one of the 12, or was he like the 13th?
That's a very good question. I'm pretty sure he's one of the 12. And just so that's 7. So we're still
Maxwell
way
Lord.
Off. Yeah, he was number 7.
And now Maxwell Lord, you were the most excited for, but you dislike, other than Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Justice Generation, or whatever the hell they're calling it.
Justice Generation Lost.
There you go. Hasn't done a damn
Oh,
thing
yeah, that's right. They brought back Ice. Or was that beforehand?
So I think that was beforehand. I can't even tell anymore. Wow, which really tells you how much I don't care about Brightest Day. I can name more people that the Black Lanterns brought back. Like, say, Blue fucking Beetle.
Why couldn't they give me my Ted back?
Or the Trigger Twins.
Not that. You know, I think you've made that a mission of yours. If I mention Ted, you mention Trigger Twins.
Well, I want it to be like a mnemonic, so every time you read, like, a Blue Beetle, you immediately think of the Trigger Twins and then are annoyed with yourself.
No, now having established that that's your plan, it won't be myself I'm annoyed by.
Ah, good point. No, but you know what? Like, Scarface, I wanted back.
Scarface would have been fun to have back.
I love Scarface. I think he was a great Batman villain. I think he's one of the few recently acquired Batman villains who stood any test of time. So, disappointing that the ventriloquist and Scarface are gone. I would have taken Terror Man back, for God's sake, over half the people they chose.
They were some peculiar choices.
Firestorm
I don't
is
think I
the
saw any
ultimate
letter-writing campaigns asking for fucking Firestorm.
Or Terror Man, you know.
Or, well, yeah, or Terror Man.
But again, and I believe I made this point earlier, a couple of randoms would have been a lot more intriguing to me in a storyline basis than, hey, here's a bunch of major heroes and a couple major villains. Ding, ding, ding.
Whoop. Whoop. Don't care. Anyway.
All right, so you're dropping, you're going to go a couple more to try and...
just to make sure that something doesn't suddenly shift gears on me.
And because the Martian thing is the only thing that's currently really interesting right now, and it's at a key point. So as a reader, I can see why you'd want to go a couple more to see if that gets resolved at all.
Yeah.
Now, is this something, because I know you hate to quit things early in the series, that if the next couple really blew you away, you'd go back to, or are you so fed up?
No, I'd keep, if they did turn right around, shift gears, and go, oh my god, sure, I'd stick around.
Okay.
No, I mean, already up to 17 for pity's sake. There's only supposed to be like 26. You know, I'd skip 6 if it would let me get other books and I was bored anyway.
Right.
But if 18, 19
And 20,
show real promise,
then
20 shows, then yeah, fuck it, 6 more, fine.
Okay.
What's to be lost on 6 more?
That's a valid point. Now, the other thing, of course, is that they may end up coming home with you anyway if the rest of the weeks are horrible.
Yes,
so.
if things are slow or there's really, really, really bad choices on the rack that week, yeah, I may keep going
Deadpool
regardless.
team up or Brightest Day 21?
Oh, Brightest Day 21 is starting to tip the scales.
La, 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 la.
I'm going away from Deadpool.
All right, so let's hit the pile.
We're hitting the pile. I had fun with Green Lantern, Plastic Man, Weapons of Mass Deception, but I think it could have been a lot more funny. I was expecting a lot from Eel.
You know what? I mean, it's a Marv Wolfman wrote this book, and Marv Wolfman is an icon.
Yes.
And the book feels like a Marv Wolfman book. It's got, some epic storytelling. I thought the whole aliens as chickens thing was a little forced. Like, that's like trying for a level of humor. Like, all right, well, how can we be wacky? All right, they're evil, but they're chickens. And then they're police chickens. Like, really? Do the Muppets come out? Which I would have appreciated. I'm extremely pro Muppet. I've been very open about that. I'm in counseling. But the fact of the matter is that this was, nothing in the history of Marv Wolfman is like, oh, he's really funny.
Well, yeah, that is true. Would not presume to debate you on that one. I've read enough Marv Wolfman where I get it.
I mean, he's done some witty things. Obviously, he's a talented writer. I'm not knocking the dude, but he's not like Keith Giffen where you're like, oh, this is going to be a funny book.
Yeah.
You're not expecting that with a Marv Wolfman book. You're expecting it because he's got Plastic Man.
Right.
Now, the other aspect of that is how often have you actually found Plastic Man funny? You didn't read the Kyle Baker series. I think I gave you a couple of them. You're like, dude, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave you a couple of really old ones in my collection, which I believe went to your dad. So I know you didn't care for them. Rat's ass about those. So, honestly, most of your experience with Plastic Man comes from Brave and the Bold, if I can hazard a guess.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
So basically, what this is a classic 70s book to me of, okay, here's Green Lantern with a hero he doesn't really like. And he learns to appreciate him and how hard it is for him to be an annoying jackass.
You know what? I don't know much of the history between the two characters, if
I
in
don't
fact
think there is
any
any.
such exists.
I'm fairly certain from my
So,
knowledge
I'm
they
not
don't
sure
hang
why
out a lot.
Hal would be such a. I mean, he started as it got further and further before he turned the corner and said, "Oh my God, you really do know what you're doing."
He didn't like
He was really starting to hate on him. He was like, "Fuck Eel."
Well, he did not care for Eel, but Plastic Man didn't. Well, you also got to remember, Plastic Man is basically Elongated Man Jr. He's been around longer,
really.
But in terms of like the JLA and that crew, you're going to the B rubber guy from the Justice League. Now, on the other hand, in the next book we're going to look at, we have the reveal that Flash kind of dislikes Green Arrow, despite the fact that they've been buddies for like 40
Forever.
years.
Yeah, so
What the hell is that?
I don't get it. Maybe Barry Allen being a policeman is more conservative than he'd really like to reveal. And, Ollie being the absolute flaming liberal of all time in the DCU. Which, no judgments, but that's what he is. And it's been made clear thousands of times on hundreds of thousands of pages. That's him. He's Mr. fucking Lefty.
It's true.
But many, many police are righties, so,
The other aspect of that, though, and this is, I'm going to bring you back a little bit, not huge history, but something that I loved and I made you read and you loved, was when Waid and Kitson did their whole Justice League
Year one
miniseries, and then followed that up with the 6-issue Brave and the Bold.
Yes.
With Flash and Green Lantern. And in that, they had that whole Flash dealing with the fact that Green Lantern and Green Arrow were best friends, and Green Arrow's like, go save the Flash, he's your real best friend. Despite the fact that years of history has taught us that that's horseshit. So there is a history of that I kind of like that they, had been studied up on. Like he's bitter or something. And then he gets eaten by an alien fear demon, and it becomes a whole new thing. Like, I don't like Green Arrow. Also, this dude is chewing on my ass. So we've got Paraflax, or... Flashilax. This whole nickname thing's getting out of hand for me.
Flashilax?
Paraflax?
That just sounds like a really bad...
stool softener.
Yes, that's... I was trying to find a delicate way to say it.
I'm
That's
not
as
really
good
known
as it's
for my
going to get.
delicacy.
But bringing back Krona, of all people?
Kind of intrigued by that,
Yeah,
actually.
a little bit.
Let's get some fucked up Guardians in there. Now,
well, because we haven't had fucked up Guardians before.
Yeah, but this is like the king of fucked up Guardians.
Scar and Saeed.
Let us go back in time. I'm going to have you fill in.
Far
Where
back
is
in time.
Krona from? A quiz.
Where is he from? Because, you mean before Oa?
Where would people have read about Krona before?
Oh.
For our listeners who, all three of them, who might not know.
What? I'm not following what you're asking.
We have Krona the Rogue Guardian making an appearance.
Yeah.
My question to you is,
Yeah.
can you tell me where he's appeared before this?
I mean, 1965, Green Lantern, number 40?
Why do I feel that somehow I've tripped into a setup? Because the odds of you pulling it, is that the exact...
Yes.
Because I honestly did not know. I will be an honest motherfucker.
Well,
and
no,
say,
I had actually forgotten the dates and numbers.
All right.
But if you remember, I had the complete run of the DC Who's Who. And
All
I
too
did
briefly,
read
yes.
every one of them.
Multiple times. That's why you're so popular with the ladies.
That's not it at all. It's my never-ending wit.
Ugh.
Yeah, along with... Never mind.
Moving on up to the east side. All right.
Krona was the one
Yeah.
that decided he was going to investigate the beginning of time itself and the universe. This is important because in breaching the veil of time, he actually created the multiverse, which became a huge problem over the successive 20-some-odd years and culminated in the Crisis on Infinite Earths, reunifying it into one bloody universe.
Which, by the way, is still
Which
one
was
of the only
promptly
giant...
thrown out the fucking window and had to be reset just 8 years later in 0 Hour.
To very different degrees, though. Crisis on Infinite Earth is one of the great miniseries of all time.
It is.
0 Hour is an abortion people are trying to forget. All right?
Which is funny
0
because...
Hour makes Atlantis Wars read like a Ulysses novel.
Oh, written in crayon. You thought you were going to get
Atlantis attacks.
so
Here,
horrifyingly
fishy,
bad.
fishy, fishy.
So, Krona's back.
All right.
We're very
So-
worried about him. And then the Butcher steals all his thunder and... What's the Butcher? That's the Rage?
Yeah, I mean, they have
Avatar?
to introduce these. I'm not familiar with the Avatar thing as if they've been around a long time. I assume
No, they really haven't.
that all 7 of them probably have not existed before this, but they may have rolled a character that's been around once or twice before as one of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't rule that out. But I really enjoyed this issue because of the classic spirit, Jim Corrigan feel to it of the Spectre.
Yes.
Because here you have a guy dealing with something, and then it gets all mystical, which is totally the opposite. Not mystical, but heroic mystical.
Yeah.
Like people suddenly drawing powers and hitting each other with giant blood axes. So very different. But, and then at the end of the day, it's about a guy who doesn't cope with his problems well, and the Spectre steps in and fucks somebody up.
Right.
Which is what the Spectre was all
Always
about.
done.
So that was kind of cool. I really like that. I did also like that the best thing to come out of, honestly, all the way back to the Green Lantern, Yellow Lantern Wars, for God's sake.
What, the recent ones?
Yeah. Is Atrocitus, who's on one level a totally annoying rage character, but is more well put together.
He's actually developing a decent character base to work from, as opposed to Bleeze. Bleh, Bleeze.
But you've got, if you take Atrocitus and Larfleeze, have really become characters.
They really
that are
have moved
intriguing.
forward.
And not just in terms of storyline, but they're people that you can see around, like the whole multiple ring, as opposed to, say, the Star Sapphires.
The Star Sapphires, who everybody is still incredibly bored by.
The meepy purple people.
Meepy?
Yeah.
Knock.
Yeah, fine. Meep, knock, meh, whatever, sneh.
Eep, op, orc,
Aruga!
What's the reference?
I have no idea.
Yeah, you don't remember your Jetsons?
No. No, I do not.
The one Hanna-Barbera cartoon you don't like is the sci-fi one?
I'm actually not. No,
How
I'm
does
not
that
known for my Hanna-Barbera. I'm not known for my Hanna-Barbera. I was Bugs Bunny, Muppets, Disney, Sesame Street. I have enough fucking obsessions. Keep Hanna-Barbera for some other dude who's got less crap. I can't fit any more shit in my home. I do have an autographed copy.
But isn't pretty
Joseph
much
Barbera's biography.
isn't no? That's a whole different company. Never mind. The Snaggletooth is so totally you, though.
What, a gay panther? You jackass! And I'm not even knocking it. I believe, it's been written that the dude was meant to be effeminate to the degree of that.
Well,
I'm not using that as a dig. I just want to be clear.
That was early slash fiction, but
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I'll explain it to you then. I just discovered this myself last week.
Okay.
You know what fanfic is?
Yeah, horrible.
You know that it's terrible stuff written by incredibly fat, lonely women who just want dudes who just want to see the craziest shit happen between their favoritist characters. And sometimes it's just straight up Eros. Sometimes it's highfalutin adventure that the
when
kids
Harry and Edward
the
wander
people
off
would
into the wilderness
never
together.
get into themselves. But the gay component of that is slash fiction. And they call it that. I just found this out this past week. They call it that because when it was put in shorthand in fanzines, it was originally Kirk/Spock fan fiction. CK/S.
Really?
Yeah.
So the birth of all this came from Kirk and Spock doing each other.
Yeah.
Wow, my brain just threw up.
As well it should.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the...
I learned something horrible today, Mom. Yay, school.
What else you got?
I got nothing. I literally have... You've just... I'm currently pouring bleach into my ear.
Hoping to just clear that shit out.
So, let's go. Let's continue in our Green Lantern Corps as we move on rapidly from that horrifying conversation.
To GLC 54. Sinestro versus Rayner. And,
Sinestro will kick Rayner's ass. That's the first thing right off the bat. Let's be fair.
no, he got it handed to him like a narc at a biker rally.
Oh, you're stealing my... Oh, yeah. Because
Like
they
a
have
fat-
the whole no-ring fighting thing. And
Yeah, like a fat man at Altamont, you know?
although it did have the awesome... I was trained by this guy. Who taught you? Batman. Crunching the nuts.
That was good. I did enjoy that one.
So they have Sinestro making a noise only available to dogs. All right, sternum. But Batman actually told him to hit him in the nuts.
He probably did. But, I'm Tyler Kirkham, whoever he is,
This is your
I
favorite
like his
Green
art.
Lantern book so
I
far.
like, they've
currently.
moved on from Old Boy. Who was the other guy that was doing this?
No,
The one that I wasn't overly happy about because of the
faces.
mouths.
Yep.
Specifically the mouths. The mouths irritated me.
But you've got the Weaponeers of Quark. Like, the nice thing about Green Lantern, of course, is they're bringing all these things together. The downside is that every storyline is so massively epic.
And convoluted, and it takes forever to wrap up.
And they're all kind of connected, and yet at the same time in no way connected.
But a lot of people would say, but of course there's a natural outgrowth. I mean, your days just blend together, don't they? I mean, you don't have one thing you do one day and then you totally shift gears a week later.
Actually, that's pretty much how
That's
I've
exactly what
always
it
lived
is.
my
Yeah, I
life.
know.
I'm a terrifyingly bad example of that.
You know, not
Why are
every
you running in a field? There was a field.
not every day is a damn vacation.
Yeah.
You know, you have a vacation once, maybe twice a year. That's your big event.
Yep.
But the rest is drudgery. So why do these days, in particular, comic characters go from vacation to vacation, for lack of a better analogy?
You know what? I guess the way they're writing it, it's the big event is a vacation, and then the rest of the year is either saving up for the vacation or being in debt because of the vacation. So there's a little dribbling in your life till the next vacation, and then it starts all over again.
You know, some of these books could use a little dribbling.
But I think as I ignore that, the main thing is that maybe they should not go on vacation for a while and save up their money. You know?
Sure. I'm fine with that. But
A few less giant events and some better day-to-day books.
yeah, I would be much happier.
Plus, I mean,
Wouldn't bother me at all.
How annoying is it as a writer to have some idea, like, you're going to be the writer on Green Lantern. I've got some great ideas. By the way, these are the next 6 events.
What?
Fit these in. Well,
How do I do that, man? Yeah, I mean, that can't be good for a guy's creative process. I mean, that's what happened to poor McDuffie on JLA. You know, and he mentioned it and got fired for it. Remember that?
Well, JLA is, I mean, that's particularly frustrating. It's like, oh, by the way, you're writing a book with 8 characters, or 16 if you follow Grant Morrison. And all of these 8 characters have their own books. And all of their books are doing better than JLA. So what you need to do is eventually, not immediately, we understand that you're human, just barely. So you have like a week. You can put an issue out where you don't touch on everyone's storyline, and then you immediately have to go to the next storyline. Like, we don't expect your first issue to have Aquaman with a hand, next issue no hand. You can catch up.
It's insanity, isn't it?
Like, it's got to be a miserable book to write. Like, people are like, oh, I can't wait to. Unless you're a big, like Grant Morrison goes, I'm writing JLA, and suddenly 8 other writers are like, fuck. By the way, I turned him blue. Deal with it.
What? Blue.
Why do I have a blue-green arrow? Like,
Now-
where's that? Blue arrow?
Now I got to work out how to get his ass green again. Thanks, Grant. I'm glad to clean up after you. You're a fucking genius.
But, you know, to be fair, it makes more sense.
Take another tab of the brown acid and leave me alone.
And this might explain why JLA has been such a challenging book, because suddenly you're like, all right, how do I do my book and not screw up everybody else's book without writing the blandest fiction possible? Let's punch people.
It's got to be a hell of a challenge.
But you know what?
I don't know what.
At the end of the
they
day,
need
you're
to
writing
do.
comics for a living. You're living a dream that you had since you were 3 years old. Don't complain. All right, you know. Wow, it's really challenging to write this book while convoluting other people's storylines. Really? I sell overpriced clothing to fat white women. That's my job. You're writing the adventures of super people. Don't complain.
These are all very good points.
All right, what's next?
That's-
We do have another Green Lantern book.
Fine. We'll take one last look at Green Warriors, Emerald Warriors. Can they just think? How about Verdant Fighters? That really wouldn't work, would it?
Purple Passion People.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, that's even worse.
Hey, you know,
I guess Emerald Warriors will have to do. But how many times can you slap Emerald on Emerald Twilight, Emerald Dawn, Emerald Warriors?
it's a thing. I mean, how many other, what do you want? Verdure? I mean, it's green. You got limited
Just fucking green.
Forest Warriors. Well, that's Green Arrow.
Yeah,
see? There's a
Forest. There's a link up here, a link up there.
Pine people. You know, Emerald works.
We open up with a damn torture scene that Bleeze, Kilowog, Arisia, and Guy Goddamn Gardner bust up on.
Salvaging Daxamites.
You know what? The Daxamites can go below themselves.
They're going to be, you have all these people with huge powers being led by Saddam, which is the Green Lantern equivalent of Jehovah.
Pretty much, yeah. Once he became Ion and saved the planet by reigniting the sun.
Right, he's the Messiah, let's say. And I'm not being sacrilegious. That's kind of what the storyline is playing.
Yeah, he really
So he's
is.
Jehovah Jr.
He's the savior of the planet. I mean, it's pretty
Little Jehovah.
It's
if you
pretty
will.
clear.
Yeah. And and of the world, and it's like they're really pushing this huge setup, and yet they're also kind of hinting that he's going to be really bad now he's come back from the dead. And it's like, whoa! 3 days later he walks, and now he's like, zombie? What the fuck is going on? Is he a superhero? Is he a messiah? Or is he a douchebag zombie? Just give me a fucking answer, because I've got a headache.
And now he wants to go after the Guardians.
Well, he's always wanted to go after the Guardians.
Well, I mean, they gave him the ion power, and apparently that wasn't good enough.
Or it was too good and he wants more. But the Daxamites are going to be like, you've got all these people who've got superpowers. They're all part of this. The whole planet's been kind of analyzed as this crazy world in which, people overreact, shall we say.
Yeah. And
I like the guy who's saved from torture, and Saddam is gone, so he's like, I'm just going to sit here and wait till they come back in this empty room that the police know where it is. That's a horrifyingly bad plan.
Yeah, it's not too brilliant.
Go get lunch and rethink that.
Although the guy torturing the guy was suffocation on the edge of the atmosphere, while not really working with the laws of physics
or
was
else.
amusing.
Yeah, it was funny. It's not obviously they're ignoring science to a small degree, but fine. It was well done. And then of course you've got the big scene of the book where they let all the tortured servants murder all the torturers, and
which is not something I would really see Kilowog being happy about.
Which he wasn't.
Yeah.
So he complains, which is valid for the character.
And Arisia was,
indifferent
normally
because
wishy-washy
she's too busy
about
thinking about some other dude, But Kilowog should have said more than just like, I don't really like that. He should have punched somebody.
Yeah.
Of
Of all people, Kilowog should have been punching.
The whole aspect of the book is that you're taking these side Green Lanterns and throwing them into a giant storyline.
Sure.
It's like, all right, we've got Rayner's book. We've got Hal Jordan's book. We've got, Jonathan Stewart doesn't get anymore. We've tried. No one likes him. He can be in a wheelchair dating a purple chick. Whatever, he's done. Give it up. Guy Gardner is like, an asterisk in the Green Lantern world. They got to give him a book, so here he is. And at the same time, I'm kind of shocked that Nort isn't there. Because that's the only other big lantern that you could have thrown into Emerald Warrior. Like, let's get some comic relief. Here's Nort.
Nort actually had a pretty good story on Batman Brave and the Bold.
I find that hard
I
to
think
believe.
that you would enjoy that episode immensely.
Well, probably. It's a giant dog who keeps looking for hydrants and he talks English. Like, how do you not laugh at that?
Before we finish up the last remnants of the pile this week, in which we ought to have a really interesting conversation about this next book, I'm going to take a quick break.
Okay.
Where's my pause button? All right, are we ready for this next one?
I am ready for all, so bring them on. I will kick comic ass today.
The last JMS Superman, number 707, starts off with some action, just as he's passing through Des Moines, because there's so many horrible things that happen in Des Moines.
That's true.
Come on, it's fucking Iowa. But then he stumbles upon the prototypical, and that's my new phrase,
Prototypical.
and totally hackneyed big business polluting the planet, and doesn't really want to clean up because the profit margins are so thin, and blah blah blah, and it's the only employer in town.
Yes, but it's not as cut and dried because it is the only employer in town, and most of the townspeople work there, and they give a pretty decent living, and they pay pretty well, and they're not really, they're not perfect, but they're not really destroying. It's not like, they're pumping oil and killing fishies and covering dolphins in sludge.
It may or may not affect somebody later on.
But
okay. Now the thing is this:
food now or fish later. And the townspeople are mostly pro the company.
Because they're essentially feeding them. They provide. Now, the thing about this is this. For a guy who wrote 60-some-odd, 50-some-odd episodes of a sci-fi show, he really didn't get the science right. And I'm not going to dwell on this too long.
Right.
But, chloride what? Sodium chloride?
calcium chloride. I mean, a chloride ion. Chlorides are ions of something else. Okay, you have to have something else before you can have a chloride of it. So simply saying that you have a chloride says absolutely nothing. And I understand it's just simply a plot device to say something horrible is happening here. But you know, he could have dug up any other thing on the planet. A chloride really means nothing.
Well, I think you should go back to writing Spider-Man, because if you want a wishy-washy superhero, instead of fucking with Superman,
then that's where you can go.
Because
Spider-Man is always going to be available for indecisiveness.
You know what? Superman doesn't act indecisively. He acts and then thinks about if he acted correctly. He makes a decision, which is 99 times out of 100 the correct one, because he's fucking Superman. And then he sits back and goes, well, what else could I have done? And this whole thinking about it first, and then debating it in front of people, and threatening his wife if she goes to the press because that'll ruin the decision that he... No!
And I have another problem with this. It says right here, it's a good place to work. Hours are decent, pay is good. So why... I understand complacency. I know what that word is. I know what it means. If you look at my waistline, complacency and I are best buds.
Rolling with the homies.
But if they pay so well and you have so much leisure time, go to school and do something else. Why work in a factory the rest of your life for 3 generations?
Well,
why do that?
It pays well considering the rest of the companies don't exist in the town.
This sepia tone little section here on the bottom of the page makes it look like a goddamn workers' paradise from fucking Soviet propaganda pictures.
But here's the other aspect. Until Superman's like, this is what you should do, what article did Lois Lane's going to write an article like, they are slightly polluting, but they're actually very nice employers, and isn't this a big to-do? Like, that's a crap article.
Which means she would have spun it into the big evil corporation that...
But then
because we know Lois Lane is not above sensationalism.
But now it's, by Superman even getting involved in this, now it's Superman allows. That's a big article.
Yes, that's tremendous.
And just when I'm like, okay, this comic's really annoying me, how can it get worse? Hi, we're the superhero squad, or the Superman squad. Super buddies.
Yeah, they're bringing back Superman Family now? I mean, everybody's already back. What do they need these schmucks for? They already got Superboy, who they won the court case. Well, they settled the court case, so they can actually use the term Superboy on a book now. They've already had Superwoman, who turned out to be Lucy Lane with a fucking tremendous daddy complex.
They got Supergirl.
They've had her for a real long time. They got Crypto. I think even, Streaky's running around.
Is he really?
Yes, Streaky is running around.
Oh, thank fuck. I was so worried I'd never see a superpowered cat again.
They may or may not have Comet back.
The Super Horse?
Yes.
What about Super
Who turned
Beppo?
out to be a guy, a centaur that was transformed fully into a horse. Next page. So, they didn't need to bring these guys back. What are they going to be all about? And this is my JMS? This is a guy who did Supreme Powers?
Not every book is phenomenal. I mean, I liked where he was going with it, and then it went here.
Yes.
And I defended this book. Like you were
did.
ready to kill it, and I'm like, no, dude, there's something interesting going on here. And then this book to me is so wishy-washy.
Yeah.
It's not
between the wishy-washiness and the ham-handedness.
It's not. Every other book that he's done before this one was subtle.
Yes.
This is not. This is like...
No.
And this is his last one? So he's going... Like, the guy following up is like, oh, by the way, Superman's a wimp, and here are the super buddies. I'm out. Really? Did you bang my mom?
While pouring sugar in my gas tank?
What the hell? Thanks, Bob.
I don't know. Really? What was his thought process? He saw
Obviously, he was going somewhere.
He saw the revenues from fucking Earth 1 and lost all his shit. That's
Maybe
what
it's not about red. Let's be fair. You know what? There is a certain appeal. Like when you're an artist, becoming just a cover artist and controlling one image and making it to the best of your ability as opposed to forcing out 24 pages has a certain level of appeal. I get that. When you're a writer, being able to do it graphically, you've got a lot more leeway and a lot more freedom to develop one storyline.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe it's simply that, but fine. But whoa, pity the poor bastard taking up. What number is it? Superman
707.
The guy who writes Superman 708 does not enjoy life for the first week. I mean, he's like, I got Superman. I'm a rock star. Holy crap! What am I gonna do with this? All right, super mind erasers. Everybody's drunk.
That was good. Super mind erasers. Everyone's drunk.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel
that
let
was
down.
fun.
Like I didn't dislike, I didn't care for Wonder Woman, but I didn't like it before.
Right.
JMS, I didn't like it after.
Right.
It maintained as far as I was concerned. I liked where he was going with Superman, but this pushed it so over the top. Like before, he had this philosophical standpoint. It wasn't wishy at any point.
No.
At no point was like, I don't know what to do. This is, it's like, this is what I'm doing. This is why. I'm walking. I'm making pithy comments. I'm supporting aliens.
Pithy comments.
Suddenly, it's I don't know what to do, and I'm going to tell a giant fucking reporter that. When did you become a moron?
And what's the consequences he's going to bring up if she does publish that story?
Well, he can't. There are. What's he going to do? He can't be anything other than Superman. She can withhold.
But then she's going to be resentful of him.
Yeah, it's a terrifyingly bad moment, and I don't know how they'll resolve it. But I'm assuming, even though you didn't enjoy this, you're going to pick up the next Superman to see how they resolve it.
I will flip through it at the shop.
Really?
Yeah.
So, well, you're not a big Superman buyer to begin with, so
No.
JMS is what brought you to the book. So
Right.
you will drop it right after this if it doesn't immediately catch your interest.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right, what's next in the pile?
Captain America, Hail Hydra, which is clearly...
Now, this is one of 5, right? This is a miniseries.
Yes. Which is clearly and obviously a jumping in point to the coming movie where Hydra and Nazis feature prominently.
Ah, okay.
So
I just thought it was not that good.
it's a big 1944. I refrain from saying epic in a non-ironic way.
You've got zombie Hydra agents that they're not ex-Nazi zombie Hydra agents. You've got the scientist, the pre-Strucker photo on the wall.
Yep.
You know what? Not good. It's acceptable. It's for a starting off point for Cap. You could even do a lot worse than this.
Oh yeah.
But it's not subtle. It's not, and I hate to keep using subtle, but I like writing that's building occasionally. I also like somebody punching somebody once in a while, and there's a lot of that in this. So, to be fair, but this didn't blow me away by any stretch of the imagination.
Nope. I'll probably finish it. It's only 5.
You're going to go at least 1 to 2 more.
Yeah. I don't know who the hell Mayberry is, though.
Well, obviously, he's starting off
seen
with Cap, so...
I've seen Cariello and Sotomayor here and there, and they've been something I don't mind looking at, but I really don't know who this Mayberry guy is. We'll see what he can do.
Yeah.
Now,
which brings us to the next Cap.
By a semi-established team. You got 40% on one, 60% on the other. Because, the two of them together are 100%. Do I really need to explain that?
Hush.
No. Jason Aaron, who, if you recall last week, we had a huge run about...
Why Jason Aaron should punch Alan Moore. Yes, I was there.
Yes.
I remember.
And Ron Garney, our one semi-personal acquaintance in the comics universe.
Also one of my all-time favorite Cap artists.
And he fucking brings it this time.
It's a 1. There's something about drawing an issue 1.
The third page, pistol to Cap's head. Fucking amazing. I would buy a print of that.
Yeah, and you will.
Absolutely. Hey, if we see Ron again in another show, and probably will, because I'm going to Emerald City,
which
in
he'll be
just
at.
a few weeks, and he's going to be there. I'll probably bring this. Why not? Now, I was down. Actually, I still am, because they haven't proven anything to me yet. But I was definitely down on the Ultimate Cap, because I felt that he was just far too big a jackass for anybody that should be wearing the flag.
Well, I think your issue with Ultimate Cap is the one I struggle with Ultimate Spider-Man. It's that I keep holding him to the standard that I held Spider-Man at, and eventually you have to. It's a different.
And I do try to skirt away from that occasionally, but it's very, very difficult, because this the Ultimate Cap in the Ultimate Universe only been around a couple of years. I've been reading Cap in general for 25. So, you try to philosophically remove yourself from these preconditions, and it's not easy. You give it an attempt, but I definitely liked this one far better than anything I saw in Ultimate Avengers.
Fair enough.
So
I thought it was a fun book. I'm really intrigued, and they introduced the Ultimate Nuke, which is
the Ultimate Nuke. That ought to be
the
interesting.
Vietnam era Captain America, who thumps Cap's ass
hard, puts him right down, flings him around walls, punches him in the neck, drops him, and just looks at him like, "Hey, boy, you done?"
And he was.
But I'm ready for more Ultimate Cap by these two in particular. I will make the caveat that as soon as the creative team changes, if it lasts, and or, one more caveat, if number 2 ever fucking comes out, because while this one came out this past week, the Ultimate books are not known for their punctuality.
It's true.
So.
But no, Ultimate Cap is a definite start in the right direction, and it's a big recommend from the Mean Geeks.
Yes, it absolutely is. Buy this shit. All right, Ron, where's our check? Batman Confidential number 52. Stop Dead. Guggenheim, Jerry Bingham. Is Bingham doing all the art himself? Because I don't see anything else that says it's not. Yeah, he's doing all the art himself. So the Neil Adams-ish early 70s Batman is him. Painted. And I rather enjoy it. It gives me a nice flashback feel. Yeah. I don't mind that.
It's a very classic feeling story. I still don't like it, but I mean, this involves the all-Asian Justice League, and as well as the death of Batman, who's then revived a la Elektra, Frank Miller style.
Yeah, how did that work? But, I mean, at least they're playing Bruce the way they're supposed to be playing Bruce. You know? Let's start with her name. I have no idea. That is so billionaire playboyish of him.
Yeah, but you know what? Batman is smoother than being caught with a dead woman and then having to pretend that it was with Bruce. And
it ought to be. That part was not so hot on. But, you know, he's playing it the best he can. He's in the hospital, for God's sake. When does he ever go to the hospital?
All the time. Didn't you read Hush or Bane or... Batman's in the hospital like I'm in the toilet.
When he has absolutely no choice. When it's something that's so
Which
far
is
beyond...
all the time.
Fine.
All right, Batman gets his ass kicked a lot, and then he comes back and beats them down like a freaking Muppet. But it starts off poorly.
I've got lots and lots of hope for Detective now.
You know, I'm a little intrigued by it. I didn't like the whole rich people cult of villainy thing, but
that was a little what? But
you know, it's a little too close to the Abyss in the Batman and Robin with I got a giant hole in my head and here's my cult of weirdos. And after the last cult, the pig cult in Batman, I was like, let's go cult free for about a week, okay? Can we just fight one dude and some henchmen, please?
But as crazy as it is that, you know, you would be auctioning, it is a cool concept that they're auctioning off pieces of super fandom.
You know, and it's been done before.
It did?
Yeah, if you think back to the original Avengers revamp by Bendis, the Wrecker has to break into a rich person's house to steal his stuff back because it was bought.
Huh.
and he's holding the girl in the bikini hostage while because her dad buys all these old villain outfits and dresses up in them.
No, I totally didn't remember any of that.
Okay.
But now that I know that bit of creepiness, I'm going to be steering away from that particular set of Avengers.
But no, that's phenomenal stuff. However, no, I like Detective Comics. I like where it's going in terms of this particular storyline. I liked how they set up the gas mask thing to take out Batman. So it's a little bit intriguing right now where they're going to go with it. I think it's a huge step forward from Batman and Robin.
Oh, yeah.
So, definitely gets a caveat of positive right now.
And the normal Batman book, which I've not been impressed with Tony Daniel at all.
I mean, you never particularly liked Tony Daniel, so not being
Well,
impressed
I
by
didn't
him.
know anything about Tony Daniel except for the odd page here and there until he did Battle for the Cow, which was immensely disappointing on so many frighteningly large levels. But digging the fuck out of this one.
It was a good book.
It's got some grit in it. It's got some street level shit in it. It's got...
We kind of glossed over the first one in this series because we had a lot of Batman to get through.
Yes.
But right now, Detective is a good read. It's not my favorite Batman book, though, because the next book we're going to go over...
The brand spanking new The Dark Knight. David Finch and Scott Williams.
First off, David Finch is a phenomenal artist.
He is. Finch is the writer, however.
He didn't draw it?
Did he? Let's find the credit page, if we can. Speak so I don't have to...
My name is TechJedi, and I don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, you suck so bad.
Hey,
Written, penciled, and covered by Finch.
Thank you.
Okay, very good.
Thank you very much.
Once again, you're a step ahead. Oh my God, Rev, what would I do without you?
Die horribly.
Not anytime soon.
Fair enough. All right, but no, I really enjoyed this. It starts off with Batman, then you got a quick. Well, they all start off with Batman, but then you got a quick encounter with the Killer Croc, and then you've got the most threatening Penguin
that we've seen in ages and ages and ages.
Like, the only thing I liked in Bird of Prey is that they were trying to push this Machiavellian, crazy penguin, and then they didn't do anything with it. It's like, oh, he stabbed somebody. Then we punched him.
crap.
6 girls beat the crap out of him. So
that was totally it, too.
Here we have the Penguin being a nasty, horrible-looking planning scumbag. You've got Batman fighting the big guys. This is what I've wanted in every other Batman book lately.
Just so everybody knows, our occasional scab replacement host, Warhammer, has passed his Network Plus certification.
And that means...
Which is a pretty big thing in the computer world.
Well, a big shout-out to Captain
Victor
Von Warhammer. The Warhammer Family Singers. I love it.
But look at this.
Edelweiss.
It's so moody.
No, the art's great. The writing is good. The writing is not great. I like where they're going with
Flip
stuff.
a coin on that one.
I really like the fact that he's using major villains. I like what he's doing. But you know what? I've never heard of David Finch writing anything before. So until he develops
so
a full
there will be a
storyline,
little trepidation for that. Yeah, I can see
that's
that.
all I'm saying. I'm not knocking it. Like I said, this issue 1, this right now is my favorite Batman book, hands down. It looks great. It reads well.
It's on the street.
And it's moving into, he fights Killer Croc and Penguin, all right?
And those are good starts.
With no giant hole in her head because she has no brain. There's no Guy Flamenco, mystical assassin.
Wait till you read the next Batman and Robin. It might. I found it to be a moderate improvement over the last 2 issues.
Okay.
But because she can't seem to make up her mind whether she's going to plot with people and fuck with them, or if she's really just going to go all-out war against Bruce Wayne.
Wasn't she ripping out people's eyes with a giant pair of scissors?
You'll see about that in the next issue.
Ooh, we're ending on a teaser.
But because that's never happened in comics before.
It's never happened on this fucking podcast before.
We'll leave it alone for that. All right, kids. As usual, you can find us on Twitter at The Mean Geek, Facebook with The Mean Geek fan page. You can email us directly at themeanergeek@gmail.com.
Or you can stop by the Rev's house. Bring beer.
You can do that if you wish as well. Absolutely. He's at 148
Hush.
Shore Drive. This is totally not where he is. And don't forget to be a Skype rapist at 203.
Or leave an intelligible Skype message so that we can comment on it, which is my goal. I'm not mocking the Skypists. I just feel bad that all I've gotten are these weird squeaky noises.
We would much rather have, so we're not trying to denigrate you there, but, what are you going to do? Again, the Skype number is...
Which the TechJedi is going to continue to work on until it works.
203-533-4910.
That's 203
533-4910. And there's one more thing. We have to do a periodic shout out to the Comics Podcast Network for graciously hosting our feed.
And allowing us to stay on the air, which we do not deserve.
Of course we do. Dude, have you heard Raging Bullets? Oh, don't tell Sean I said that. Have a good night, kids.
Bless you, fuckers.
The Mean Geek is recorded live at the Reverend Mad Duck's apartment whenever the hell we can get to it. You can find us on iTunes, Podcast Alley, Facebook, Comic Space, our own site, www.themeangeek.com. Subscribe to us through RSS, and most importantly, find us as a proud member on the Comics Podcast Network. Contact us directly through email at themeanergeek@gmail.com.